Hello and welcome back to Traffic Talks. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are enjoying this podcast. It's the second episode of the year and I'm very happy to be sticking with it. One thing I think I forgot to mention in the previous episode was that these podcasts now come out on Tuesday. Monday was just a bit hectic. So for this year, I think I've decided to start on a Tuesday and it's going to be coming out weekly, one episode. So enjoy. This is part 2 of the New Year series. I'm not even sure what I'm calling it by this point because I'm recording a bit early. Definitely getting back into the swing of batching and such. There's that. But I do know this is part 2 and part 1 was all about looking back, reflecting on what worked, what didn't, and this will actually be telling you my goals for the year, what I plan on doing, why I plan on doing it, and how I plan to do it. If you're gonna stick around, thank you and enjoy the episode. Here we go. Firstly, health. What I plan to do for my health, considering I had such a huge setback and wake-up call last year with my hospital visit, was to definitely look at it and see what needed to be done. Definitely needed to focus on 2 things. 1, gaining my fitness back, and 2, getting rid of my diabetes. I'm diabetic type 2. For those of you who don't know, and I actually plan to get rid of my diabetes by the end of the year. I've got a game plan for that, but I'm only starting with it in March. Until March, I have a plan. There is something called Swirkit. It is a fitness app and it's really awesome. They currently have a challenge going on. There's 2 different versions. You can do a building muscle version and a weight loss version. I've never been very concerned about weight loss numbers, but to me that is something that will definitely boost my fitness level. So that's the challenge I'm taking on. It starts, well, by the time you listen to this, it will have started on the 4th of Jan and it ends beginning of March. For 8 weeks, I'm doing that challenge and I'm very excited to do it because it's something I've been building up to. I've been doing exercises at home and stuff to definitely build up my fitness for it because I knew last year already I would be doing it. That is something I'm looking forward to taking on and doing. As I said, it's not about the numbers on a scale, but more of the fitness level that I feel I want to achieve. So that is definitely something I'm tackling in terms of my health. The other thing will be the diabetes. Obviously, there are benefits to regular exercise for diabetics, but aside from that, I'm overhauling my eating plan and definitely focusing on getting rid of my diabetes. I have a machine that I test with regularly, so looking at that and figuring out how to get rid of it is the best option for me. I've got all sorts of books and I have seen a doctor about it, so I'm on the right path with that. But in terms of health, those are my 2 main goals. For finances, I did say this would definitely be brought up in this episode, and here it is. For finances, I've definitely needed to overhaul it. I spent stupid amounts of money on things on Black Friday. As I said, I did plan to buy it and I did end up saving almost, I can't even remember the number. I did work it out, but I did end up saving a lot of money because there were certain things that were going to be sold on Black Friday sales that I could buy online, and I ended up scoring like literally hundreds of rands when I bought them there, and I did plan on buying them, so I did save a ton of money, but the amount I spent was still, I feel, very, very high. I definitely needed to look over that, and what I decided was that I would be focusing on finding a budget that I like, maybe not like, maybe a budget that I will be happy with for this year. I was fortunate enough, like I said, to A, get a raise, and B, drop some expenses like having to travel to work, clothing expenses, like a lot of things did fall by the wayside, so I was very happy about that. But aside from trying to stick to a budget, I want to focus on 3 main things. 1 would be saving up a decent emergency fund. It's something everyone should have, even if it's very small and slow to start. 2nd would be to invest my money. I have an investment plan, so bulking that up would definitely be a definite thing for me to do. And then thirdly, I want to travel, so once this whole nonsense is over, I plan on traveling either end of this year or next year, and I do need to sort out like my passport and things, which I will get to. But traveling is something I love. I have like this weird addiction to traveling on planes. I used to do it every single year. This past year was the only exception because of COVID. I love that. But that's a whole separate episode of me flying and traveling that will be coming to you in this year, so you can look forward to that. Those are the 3 main financial goals I'm going to be focusing on, and I have amounts written down for them. Saving, investing, and an emergency fund are definitely 3 things I'm focusing on in terms of finance for this year. Another thing that I definitely need to look into when it comes to saving, or rather my finances, is how I spend my money. A lot of the times I'm spending it on entertainment costs. Having a budget will definitely curb it. And also I want to start spending more money on myself and my maintenance. So that is like my hair, my nails, my skin, all those kinds of things. And that has even been something I didn't focus on previously. It'll be fun to actually see how that all balances itself out in my budget. But like I said, I have my amounts of money that I want to be saving and stuff. And as I always say, it's better to spend after saving than rather save after spending, because there's usually not much left, if anything at all. And that was something I definitely needed to relearn last year, which I did. So very grateful for that. One of my very important things that I wanted to focus on for the podcast. So I had, I think, 2 main goals. For the podcast, I actually have 3. The first goal of mine is to do a short course on social media. I think there's like a 1 or 2 hour course that I have waiting for me to complete. And it's something that I definitely want to look into, because like a lot of things in life, you got to take the good or the bad. And the good of this podcast is the bad part of social media. So having to up my game with social media, not only with posting more and getting out there more in terms of social media, I actually need to learn how to do social media for my podcast. Doing a short course on this is something I'm going to be doing within the next few weeks, if I haven't already done it, which I'm quite sure I will have. But that is definitely something I want to do to up my social media game, because goal number 2 is having 1 episode that is sponsored by the end of the year. This is something that to me is like, oh my word, I need to find 1 sponsor. But to a lot of people it's like, nah, I get like a sponsor a month, or like a sponsor for every episode that I do, and that's all good. Like I said last week, I'm not competing with anyone but myself. But my goal is to definitely have 1 sponsored episode by the end of the year, and I unfortunately understand social media plays a big role in that, especially with me hiding behind my microphone. I can't do a lot of typical sponsored episodes. So for example, I'm not showing my face on social media or myself, so I can't be sponsored by someone who's doing face masks or hair things or certain things that requires me showing myself, if that makes sense. Finding a sponsor, it's a bit of a challenge, but I'm looking forward to taking on that challenge. And my third goal for my podcast this year is to upload at least 40 to 45 episodes this year. I'm making this my goal because I didn't even reach 40 last year, which is sad, but for my first year, very, very exciting. I think I was just a few episodes shy of, I think, 35. So 40 to 45 is my goal for this year. 1, because I get to actually tackle it earlier in the year. I'm literally starting within the first week of uploading. And 2, I don't know what's going to happen this year with hospital. I was off for about 4 weeks of podcasts, so unforeseen circumstances, but I chose that number specifically so that I would have some leeway in case anything does pop up, or I honest to goodness want to just take a break and step back a bit. Between 40 and 45 episodes is the goal for this year, and you may notice I've used a different numbering system for the past episode as well as this one. That's just to help me keep track of what's going on. That's what it is. Those are my goals for the year. I do also want to start focusing on better self-care routines, better exercise habits, more me time, focusing on some other hobbies aside from this, definitely watching a bit more series and movies, and then diving deeper with my mental health. I've already got an appointment booked with my therapist, so definitely getting myself in better order. Those aren't really achievable goals, which is why I say work on them, because certain things like skincare or mental health are journeys you don't ever really stop. It's usually continuous. Even if you maybe dip low and then go high and then dip again, or plateau or something like that, they aren't really things that have a strict measurement. The other goals can be put on a spreadsheet. They can have a graph, you can tick them off, you can measure them, you can see them, you can track them, all those kinds of things. So that's why those are my goals. Getting a sponsor, that's one thing. Each episode ticks off a box of the 40 episodes I've done for the year. I may even make a special countdown thing and put it on the Instagram, but those are tangible things I can do. I will definitely be focusing on those things, and I hope this has helped you maybe get some motivation to set your own goals. That is it for this week. The song of the week is actually one that really just gets me going all the time, and it's actually Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna. It's kind of a get up and go for it kind of a thing, and just grab life. You can complete the saying yourself, but you know what I'm talking about. Just get up and go for it. Shut up and drive. Get up and go for it. Do you. That is it for this week's episode. It's a hot day today, so just forgive me for any weird things going on. That is it for this episode. Like I said, it's a bit short, sweet, to the point. I hope that you enjoyed it, and like I said, hope it motivated you to maybe make your own goals a bit more tangible, a bit more achievable, a bit more measurable, so that you can actually do them. And like I said in last week's episode, just start. So enjoy your week. I'll see you in the next podcast, or maybe you'll just hear me in the next podcast. That's all. I'm done. Thank you. Have a good day. Love you. Bye.